Welcome to Code Snippets Tutorial 3 Animation. I have a new FLA open and I kept the default settings. I'm going to pick up my rectangle tool, keep whatever stroke and fill I have, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Make it more long than thin. Highlight it. Highlight it. Modify it, convert it to a symbol. Make sure movie clip is selected. REC underscore MC. Copy that. Okay, and in the properties panel, while it's still selected, paste in that for the instance name. Call this REC. REC. Lock it. Lock that layer. Insert a new layer. Call it ball. BALL. Select the first frame, pick up your oval tool by clicking the corner here, oval tool, hold your shift down and make a circle. Selection tool, modify, convert it to a symbol, call it ball, BALL underscore MC, copy that and use that as the instance name for that ball. Paste. While the ball is still selected, if not selected with your selection tool, open the Actions panel, Code Snippets. We want to go down to Animation and Move with Keyboard Arrow. And I double clicked on it, and that puts it in my Action panel. I'm just getting rid of all these highlighted comments. I don't need them. And let's have a quick look at what this is going to do. It's going to make we're going to make 4 variables. One's going to be called up press, down press, left press, and right press. Naturally, these have to do with the arrow keys. And this is called the Boolean function, B-O-O-L-E-A-N. And false means right now that that function is told not to do anything. We have our ball movie clip, that's what we're talking about. We have an event listener, which enters, every time it enters the frame, it's going to do this event, which is called move in the direction of the keys. I don't like that not long name, so let's get rid of this and just keep direction of keys. So let's delete that. And down here, let's find that function right here and get rid of that. So we're just, get rid of that, delete that. Keeps that short. And this one here, set keys. So let's just call it set keys. So get rid of that, delete that, set keys, and let's call this one unset keys. And there's 2 functions, we got to find that. Them down here. There's the set. We just want the set key, so get rid of that and pressed, and now down here is that unset. Get rid of that and this, and just hit this, make sure I have no errors. Okay, go back to the Actions panel and let's look at it right quick, give you some idea what it says. We have, this is an event listener, so that it happens over and over and over, otherwise it would only happen once. And here we have the section that's going to run when the key is pushed. We're calling that set keys. And this is when the keys are lifted up. That's called unset the keys. And this one is the direction that we're moving. So let's look at that first. Here's the function, direction of the key, and if up pressed is true, we're going to move the ball up on the y-axis. That's minus equals 5. If the down variable is true, then we're going to move the ball down the y-axis by adding 5 increments every time. We'll move it left by taking away 5 every time we press the left key, and we'll add it. So that's telling me, and if you want to make it bigger steps, make these numbers bigger. Okay, that's when it's for the direction. Now, when we set the key, that means when the key's been pushed, if we press the up arrow, then we want to go make this up press true. And that up press they're talking about is this Boolean, up press true, true, and the up press is what makes it move up the screen by this direction. And we have one for going up, we have one for coming down, and this here is when the keys are left go and they're back up, we make those false so that it stops moving. So let's just test this out and see if it works. And if I hit the up arrow, it goes up, left and right, and if I hit a left and down arrow at the same time, it goes on a 45-degree angle. Okay, very handy. This is a really good program. Really smooth. Go back to the main timeline. Let's let's leave the ball as it is. Let's open the actions panel. I have the ball still selected. Code snippets. Animation. Move horizontally. If I just click it once, then look here, that tells me what the details are. Moves the specified object to the left or right by a specified number of pixels, and here's how it's done. So insert this and we'll look at it. It's very simple. Insert it, and let's get rid of all that other stuff here, everything, so that we're not having two things happen. And this is all we have left. It says ball movie clip, that's the name of that movie clip, ball underscore MC, that's the ball, period, it's x-axis, add 100 to it. So when we run the program, it's sitting right here, and if I add 100, it should jump to somewhere over here. So see how close it is there now. Control, test movie, and there it is there. Naturally, if we made that 300, it might make it almost to the edge of the stage when we run it. Way over there. Let's go back to the selecting that one again. Open the actions panel, snippets, animation. This would move it horizontally, this would move it vertically. So let's move this one vertically for a minute. Let's go back to the main timeline. Let's unlock the rectangle this time. Lock the ball. Unlock the rectangle, and we're going to move it. The code snippet. We're going to move it vertically. And let's just double click on it. We know what the code is now. And that's going to move our ball horizontally. And let's make this down minus 50. So right now they're on the same plane here. This ball should jump over here somewhere, and this rectangle should go up there, I believe. Control, test movie. There it is. That ball went over there, and if I look at it, it jumped up 50 pixels. Delete all that stuff for a minute. Let's select the rectangle. Let's open the code snippets again. Animation. Rotate once. Let's look at that one. I just double clicked on it, gets me inside of it. Get rid of this, we'll look at it. It says rec underscore MC, that's this rectangle, rotate it by 45 degrees. And it's only going to happen once because I don't have one of those on frame enter functions. It's only going to go through that once. And it'll rotate 45. Well, let's change that to 60 degrees. And look at that, rotate 60 degrees, test. And there it is, rotate 60 degrees. Let's make it minus 60. And you probably realize it's going to tilt the other way. And it did. Okay, that rotates it once. Now we'll put one of those on-frame enters into it, and then we'll make it happen over and over again. So let's select that rectangle. Open the actions panel, open the code snippets, animation, rotates continuously. I'm just double clicking on it. I'm explaining all this to you, but you can read it if you wish. Here we go. REC_MC, that's the movie clip. This is the event list that I'm talking about, and it's an enter frame. And let's just call it rotate. We don't need all this unless rotate is a reserved word. It might be. Yes, so we can't do that. Control Z. So we're going to call it rotate continuously. And it's going to rotate in increments of 10. So let's do that for a minute. And it's going to be a clockwise rotation. And it's going to go over and over and over again. Can you guess how to speed it up? Let's make it rotate by 100. Control test movie. Much faster. And let's go back to 50. And let's make it a minus. Now it should go counterclockwise. This is good for wheels on a car or something like that. Alright. Let's delete that one. Let's select that rectangle again. Open the code snippets. Animation. Animate horizontally. Let's just make this one go horizontally. This again, I want it to happen over and over again, so I've got this enter frame add event listener for the movie clip that we're talking about, and I think I can get rid of this because I don't think horizontally is a reserved word. And this is going to move on the x-axis this way every enter frame, and we're running at 24 frames per second. So 24 times a second, 24 times a second, that's going to jump this way 10 pixels. I believe that's what it means. And it will look like it's moving. Naturally, if I make it 100 pixels, it's going to just go whip right across the stage so fast. We might not even, there it was, not even hard to see. And naturally, if I go the other way, it's going to go backwards. Very fast. There we go. We still have it selected. Let's go back to the code snippets. I don't think we need to do this vertical animation. It's the same thing, except it's on the x-axis. Let's do this one. Fade in. Fade in. Let's get rid of this moving here. And here's the fade in one. Again, it's got this event listener, so it's going to happen over and over and over. And I'm just going to call it fade symbol. Okay, see what I'm doing here? Fade symbol. And we have a variable here called alpha. That's how visible it is. And we get the alpha set to 0. And as soon as we turn it on, it's going to go into this frame, and 24 times a second it's going to go into this frame, and each time it goes into the frame it's going to add 0.01 to the alpha. You may not think that's very much, but a 1 alpha is full color. The 1 is full color. And we're going to tell it to do that until and there's an if statement here, until the alpha reaches 1. When it does, we're going to remove this event listener fade symbol. So down here, get rid of this there and get rid of this. So it will stop once the alpha reaches its fullness. Full opacity, I guess would be the word. There it goes, see that? And at the same time, let's go back to the main timeline. Let's select the ball, and let's have the ball do the opposite thing. Code snippets, animation, fade out. And we'll just leave everything in here. We'll leave everything there. This time, we're taking the alpha, and see, we're decrementing it. We're going to, it's starting off as full alpha of 1, and it's going to get dimmer, 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 and once it gets to 0, when you can't see it, stop fading it out. So one's going to fade in and one's going to fade out. And I believe that's the last code snippets under that. Yep. Now, we're having these take place automatically when we're running the program, but you could have another button on the stage and have the button call this function up, and the button would tell it to fade in or fade out, or the arrow keys, or again you could make a button on the stage and have that take place. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.